draft sales.
A separate vote.
Become a separate vote of draft
Yeah,
sales.
that'd fall under draft beer sales, and that'd fall under a special, another
Another
special
vote.
vote. Not ordinance, we can't pass that.
Y'all got enough to do with now.
Well,
No.
it's a state.
It's like Sunday sales, a separate vote.
Okay.
Different animal.
I think if you want to start a brewery, you'd be involved in a different animal totally. You'd probably have to get health departments, federal government, EPA, everybody. That'd be out of our.
And Mr. Marchman, at the same time, if you did do that, you would have to sell food to do it at that point. If the second vote did come up, and you would be under the restrictions that we would place, which right now, from the way it looks from the state and us talking a little bit, maybe around a 60-40 percentage. So 60% of that establishment would have to serve food and 40 alcohol. And again, that hasn't been voted on yet, because all we've done is talked about that. So you'd have to look at the restrictions that we'll have in place before you would open a place like that up, and go through the application process with us and the state. Yes, sir.
Drinking in the park, kind of activities, could y'all consider that football game, drinking in the park?
We have, did you hear his questions, ladies and gentlemen? This was Mr. Lee, is it Leon, is that correct? Leon, the first was, question that he had was, are we going to allow drinking in the parks and the recs that we have here in the community? We have looked at different areas and what they did. Some allow it, some don't. At the same time, some say we can have it in certain spots, but not places where there'll be more underage children. And in my opinion, Heritage Park and places like that, when there's T-ball games. Golf course, there's people that want it at the golf course, of course. So we're looking at that and seeing what is the best avenue for us to apply it to our top quality park and rec system and how it will best be utilized, but staying out of the hands of minors. Is that correct, John? Okay.
You mentioned football games, I guess you're referring to high school football games? That's the Board of Education.
Yeah, talk to the board on that, the school board on that one. No, I don't think so. Any other questions? We'll listen to questions at this time, or any comments, please. Mr. Holt.
I know most of you. I'm Dodd Holt again. I'm not my twin. I know most of the council here, and I want to commend you for taking this load upon your back and trying to do the best for the city of Cullman, which I know you will. Now, I'm through.
Thank you, Mr. Holt. And Chief, while you've got the microphone, we talked a little bit about the education. I mean, we have a DARE program in place. I'd imagine there'll be more.
We do. Those of you who know me know that DARE is near and dear to my heart. I've been doing the DARE program for over 25 years. And that's something, just like somebody said before, it starts at home. It starts at home. And then we want to keep it up in the schools. This is, in no way is this going to affect our commitment to trying to teach our kids to be responsible.
Thanks, Chief. Is there any other?
One of the things that our school system always does is education. When our children were in school, the big thing then was smoking cigarettes. And they started teaching the ill effects of smoking cigarettes at Cullman Middle School, wasn't it? Back when our kids were up there. And I'll tell you, that makes a huge impact. And we're going to be doing the same thing. These same things that we're talking about with tobacco and alcohol and anything else, and we don't want to get off on any other things that needs to be cleaned up in this community. And I think you know what I'm talking about, because we have more problems than we can imagine. And one thing was brought up, I want to, Leanne, would you bring up, somebody mentioned something about revenue. And the last thing on this chart here, this is a breakdown of tax revenue. This is annual sales tax. For example, in the city of Cullman, if we collect $40 million in sales tax, This is how it's divided up. You can see down here at the bottom, the county and the city get the same. You hear people say, well, I'm gonna boycott that store. I'm not gonna shop in Cullman. I'll go to Hartselle, you know, because we don't get any of our tax revenue back in the county system. I beg your pardon, you do. And this is one thing that I wish that everyone would share with all individuals, because when you shop in Cullman, that tax dollar stays in Cullman County, and that's important. Now, don't punish people for trying to make a living. And we're not here to make people get a liquor license. That's totally up to the individual. It's not gonna bother me. If you don't want a liquor license, don't get it. Because there's some people that actually will tell you in some communities where the liquor license is exorbitant, like $5,000 or $4,000, you're not gonna recoup your money. And it's not a panacea. I'm just telling you. The tax revenue will be there, but it's not gonna be a big rock candy mountain. Some of you don't know what that is, but I do.
On that, to go one step further with the mayor, on the county sales tax, if we got whatever sales tax, let's say the 40 million, there'll be $10,588 that the city receives in their general fund, and then also, when I say general fund, but it will be received for the city and received the same amount at the county. To know exactly where that sales tax goes on the county side, to reiterate what the mayor was stating, part of that goes to the county school board of education. Part of that goes to the county road department fund to improve roads in the county. Part of that goes to their general fund. And then I missed one. The other one, county municipalities, is divided out by their population, a particular portion of that. And also every volunteer rural fire department gets a portion of that. So it's not just one that there's going into the general fund and your politicians. Our elected officials have authority to that money. It's earmarked where it's going to go to every one of those. So again, to reiterate what the mayor said, if you spend $1 here, there's money going to everyone I just told you in the county also. Is there anyone else? Is there any final words that someone would like to say as we start the closing of this meeting? Mr. Ballou, we want you to come up, buddy. Yes, sir. Please. Yes, sir. All right. I think we broke our own rule of one time, so I'm speaking just one time per person. That's all right, Mr. Ballou. We're glad you're here.
A friend of mine, a preacher in Chattanooga, Tennessee, he said he heard the screams from next door, and said they went over to find the wife out on the front porch screaming hysterically. Her husband had just beat her 2 babies to death with a hammer. And he told my friend at the jail the next day, he said, my God, Mays, he said, I thought I was killing snakes. He was having DTs, delirious tremors, alcohol related. It's dangerous.
Yes, sir.
Point I'm trying to get across tonight, okay?
We understand. That's a good point. Anyone else tonight? David?
Thank you, Council. Council President made a reference to trusting. And I just want to say that I do trust this council.
Thank you.
I pray for this council and the mayor every night and every day that they do the right thing, and I know they will. What I don't want to see happen is what I see a bunch of times when I go down to Mobile. You know, you talk about alcohol, you talk about DUIs. What they do in Mobile is they put crashed cars that were actually